This conference will now be recorded.
About time for me to great time. I did mine the year after we moved here. So I need to do it again. Okay. How long you have? Okay. What about the sound? Like the yeah. Well, I'm happy to do it. One thing. I'll take your advice. Very good. No problem.
He's been putting nothing in mine.
Well, he's,
What did you take your tape?
hey, I know there you go. I was going to record this video. All the festivities, you have to take care of that. Yeah, I'll give him a whenever you want to. I'm going to go.
I'm okay right now.
Yep. Are you ready? Matt. Here we go. All right, I hereby call to order this meeting of the Sedalia City Council. We'll go ahead and start with our first item on the agenda. That is legislative prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Chaplain Masson, you have the floor.
Would you stand as able and join me in an invocation? Dear Lord and Father of us all, we come to you this evening to ask your guidance as the Sedalia City Council, mayor, administrators, staff, board members meet to hear about, question, discuss, and make decisions for the betterment of our city and its people. We're grateful for their service and dedication to this community. We ask your particular guidance and protection for all of our first responders who work 24/7 to serve and protect us, often at their own peril. We are grateful for the United States of America, our constitutional republic, for which so many thousands have fought and died to create and preserve for these 250 years. We ask your blessing and protection for all of our military and civilians serving this great country today, here and throughout the world. And now as we leave tonight, please protect us and our loved ones. Keep us from harm until we meet again. And this is prayed in the name of our risen Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Robinson.
Yes.
Olden.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
August.
Here.
Hiller. Here. Cross. Here. Foster.
Here.
Bliss.
Here. All right, first item on our agenda is the public hearing on the proposed FY 2026 budget. At this time, we'll begin the public hearing on the proposed 2026 budget. Interim City Administrator Matt Wirt will lead us into this portion of the meeting. For those who wish to make a comment, please note that all remarks must remain germane to the budget. This hearing is an opportunity to provide input on the record. Budget is not a forum for posing questions, engaging in debate, or having a discussion with council. If you wish to speak, please begin by stating your name, your address for the record. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes to share their remarks. We ask that all comments remain respectful and directly relevant to the proposed budget. With that, I will turn it over to Interim City Administrator Matt Wirt to go and lead us into this.
Yeah, so this evening on the agenda is the acceptance of the budget. I have what you saw in your packets is Exhibit 1. To give you a synopsis in a sense of each fund. So that's what we have at this point, and then I can, when we get to that point, I can bring that out, or I can do it now, whichever you'd like.
Okay. We'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone who would like to give public comment regarding the 2026 budget, please step to the microphone, state your name and your address, and you'll be allotted 3 minutes.
Is there still a good and welfare after this?
There is.
Okay, Debbie Covington, 2601 East 12. I asked that the budget you all have set aside for demolition of homes to be readjusted or completely taken out of the budget. In recent events, with DNR stepping in and stopping the home demolitions because you all don't properly test for asbestos and lead, I asked that be completely taken out of the budget for this year and maybe reevaluated at a later time. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to provide public comment regarding the 2026 budget? Okay, seeing no takers, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Next item on our agenda is the public hearing regarding the Midtown West 50 Tax Increment Financing Plan. John Simmons will lead us into this portion of the meeting. For those who wish to make comment, please ensure that all remarks are kept germane to the TIF plans. This hearing is an opportunity to provide an input on the record, but it is not a forum for posing questions, engaging in debate, or discussing the matter with council. If you wish to speak, first state your name, your address for the record, and then each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes. So with that, we'll turn it over to John to go ahead and lead us into this.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, councilors. I'm going to start with the West 50 TIF, and as you'll recall, each year I'm just giving you the stats and figures from what came out of those TIF districts, what were the production numbers to the city's general revenue. So the amended agreement was in 2019. Since the agreement was amended and started the district, we've added in 2023 Slim Chickens, 2020 Big O Tires, and in 2018 Aspen Dental and Scooters. There is remaining land to develop at the West 50 Main and Oak Grove intersection. You can see that directly west of Big O Tires. The assessed valuation added to the redevelopment project is $513,280. The anticipated assessed value at the district termination will be $2,203,551. The pilots, these are payments in lieu of taxes, since inception amount to $73,626.28. The economic activity taxes since inception amount to $225,000 with $24.34 at the end of that. The revenue on hand from this account currently stands at $66,405.81. Moving on to the Midtown TIF, that was an amended agreement from July 2nd, 2018 that added the Lamy Building Project to the original TIF district. Since the inception, we have completed the Trust Building Project, the Broadway Arms demolition. The Ohio streetscape is completed, but this additional streetscape is identified going forward. The Liberty Center, we're still reviewing submittals from them for payment. New businesses this year have included Lost Volcanists, Marie Grace Boutique, Designer's Touch Boutique, Kemp's Country Market, Lost Cargo's Thrift Store, Redeemed Threads Consignment and Boutique. The assessed valuation added to the district is $4,274,190. Since its inception, the pilots have amounted to $1,709,759, and the revenue on hand since inception currently stands at $9,772.85. The EAPs, which are economic activity taxes, since its inception was $9,154.96. So those pilots since inception have gone to the projects for their completion.
Very good.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions, council?
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing regarding the TIF plan. If anyone would like to provide public comment, please step to the microphone, state your name and your address, and you will be allotted 3 minutes. All right, going once, going twice. Having heard none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Now we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the approval of the previous session minutes dated March 3rd, 2025. These are the council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any council discussion regarding those meeting minutes? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll move on to the reports of special boards and commissions and committees. This is the acceptance of the Traffic Advisory Commission meeting minutes. These are dated November 12th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve and a second?
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. Do I have any council discussion regarding those meeting minutes? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll move on to the roll call of standing committees. Up first, we have Finance and Administration. Chairwoman Boggess, you have the floor.
Thank you. Tonight we have 6 items to discuss. The first one being final budget amendment. Excuse me. This is a standard practice as discussed in the budget planning session, since inflation or unexpected events can sometimes cause expenses to exceed initial estimates. For fiscal year 2025, expenses for the city operations have been higher than originally budgeted. However, they remain within the city's available resources, which include current revenue and the unencumbered balance carried forward from previous years. So we have a resolution and an ordinance regarding this.
Okay, so we have 2 items in direct relation to this. We'll call for the reading of the resolution first.
Resolution 2129. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sedalia, Missouri, stating facts and reasons for the necessity to amend and increase the city's annual budget for fiscal year 2025.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. Do I have any council discussion regarding this resolution? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll go ahead and move on to the next item, which would be the ordinance, and that's in relation to the budget. We'll go ahead and call for the reading of the ordinance.
Bill number 2025-35, an ordinance amending the budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 regarding final fiscal year 2025 amendment.
Second reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that is on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-35, an ordinance amending the budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 regarding final fiscal year 2025 amendment.
Final passage.
I have a motion for final passage, and I have a second of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that is on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Boggess.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Bliss.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
All in favor.
Motion passed.
Our next item is for the budget adoption fiscal year 2026. This is calling for an ordinance. The budget is now prepared for adoption by this council, and a summary of the budget by funds is provided with the package and labeled exhibit number 1, should anyone need to review it.
All right.
I do have it up, the summary of it by fund. This is in line with what we discussed at the last meeting and gives you the anticipated fund balance at the end of the fiscal year for next year. So it is as we had finished it off with the decision tree.
Very good. Any council discussion regarding that? All right. Having heard none, call for the reading of the ordinance.
Bill number 2025-36, an ordinance authorizing the adoption of a budget for the fiscal year 2026.
Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor?
My question is with DNR being involved on this tearing down, is that going to increase our budget?
All right, I'll go ahead and direct that question to Interim City Administrator Wirt.
As we work through it and they develop a plan, we'll have to determine what the extra cost will be. I don't know for certain.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions, council? All right. Having heard none, I would entertain a motion in a second for the, I'm sorry, I already got that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-36, an ordinance authorizing the adoption of a budget for the fiscal year 2026.
Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill? Is there any further discussion? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Hiller.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Bliss.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
All in favor.
Our third item is adopting a 5-year capital improvement plan. Throughout the budgeting process, staff conducts a long-term assessment of capital needs to support strategic planning and future growth. As the community grows and new opportunities arise and increased revenues or grants, we will adjust the plan as needed to align with our evolving goals and long-term vision for the future. Staff recommends formal adoption of the plan to guide the city's progress.
All right, we'll go ahead and call for reading of the ordinance adopting the 5-year capital improvement plan.
Bill number 2025-37, an ordinance adopting a 5-year capital improvement plan.
Second reading.
I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-37, an ordinance adopting a 5-year capital improvement plan.
Final passage.
I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding it? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Cross.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Bliss.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yes.
All in favor.
All right, motion passes.
Our fourth item is an annual appropriation for the economic development of Sedalia, Pettis County at $140,000. As outlined in the proposed budget and reviewed during the council work session, the allocated amount for contracted services for economic development through economic development of Sedalia, Pettis County is $140,000 for the upcoming fiscal year. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance to authorize the contract for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2026.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing the agreement.
Bill number 2025-38, an ordinance authorizing an agreement by and between the City of Sedalia, Missouri, and economic development of Sedalia, Pettis County.
Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-38, an ordinance authorizing an agreement by and between the City of Sedalia, Missouri, and economic development of Sedalia, Pettis County.
Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Foster.
Yes.
Bliss.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
All in favor.
Motion passes.
Our fifth item tonight is the annual appropriation for the Scott Joplin International Ragtime Foundation at $12,000 for 2025 festival. During the council presentation, the Scott Joplin Ragtime Foundation requested an increase in its appropriation. The council will approve the increase as part of the budget process. It is now time to authorize the annual appropriation of the updated amount, and staff recommends acceptance of the ordinance.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing the agreement.
Bill number 2025-39, an ordinance authorizing an agreement by and between the City of Sedalia, Missouri, and Scott Joplin International Ragtime Foundation, Incorporated.
Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-39, an ordinance authorizing an agreement by and between the City of Sedalia, Missouri, and Scott Joplin International Ragtime Foundation, Incorporated.
Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Bliss.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
All in favor.
Motion passes.
Our final item tonight is the embassy request for additional opioid settlement funding. At the last council meeting, Ann Graff with the embassy provided a detailed presentation outlining unforeseen structural issues encountered during the repair of a home used for the rehabilitation program. As a result of these challenges, embassy has requested an additional $100,000 beyond the $50,000 previously allocated in the earlier fiscal year. After reviewing all current allocations, the available fund balance stands at $181,147.40, which is sufficient to cover this request. These funds are restricted for use in treatment, prevention, or other opioid abatement strategies. The ordinance before the council tonight would authorize that $100,000 to the embassy for the facility repairs. Staff recommends acceptance of the ordinance.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing the appropriation of the additional opioid settlement funds.
Bill number 2025-40, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of additional opioid settlement funds to the embassy.
Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding it? We also have representatives from the Embassy House here. If you have any questions, you can direct those at me, and then I'll channel those to them. Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Bill number 2025-40, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of additional opioid settlement funds to the embassy.
Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding it? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
August?
Yes.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
All in favor.
Thank you, Chairwoman Bogus.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Public Works. Chairman Hiller, you have the floor.
There are 5 items tonight for consideration. First, we plan for the rehabilitation of the north taxiway and the northern 500 feet of the runway at the Sedalia Municipal Airport. During our budget process, we had advertised for bids and received 2 submissions, one from Farner Asphalt Sealer and the other from Emery Sapp & Sons. Farner Asphalt Sealer submitted the lowest bid, which came in below the engineer's estimate. Our engineering firm, Lochner, has thoroughly reviewed the bids and is confident in Farner's ability to successfully complete the project. Staff recommends acceptance of the Farner bid.
All right, we'll go ahead and call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing an agreement for the airport runway rehabilitation project.
An ordinance authorizing an agreement for airport runway rehabilitation project.
Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding
Who's the second? I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, who's the second? Got it.
Robinson, yep.
An ordinance authorizing an agreement for airport runway rehabilitation
Excuse me,
project.
clerk, interim clerk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Proceed.
An ordinance authorizing an agreement for airport runway rehabilitation project.
Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Robinson? Yes. Oldham?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
August?
Yes.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
8-0.
Motion passes.
Council privileged to approve an agreement with Lochner in prior council meetings for the design phase of the North Taxiway project at Sedalia Municipal Airport. In item 1 of this committee, council was presented with the contract for rehabilitation of the runway. However, MoDOT and the FFA required a supplemental agreement with Lochner to provide construction services during the runway rehabilitation in the amount of $11,499.79. This agreement has been reviewed and approved by legal counsel. Staff recommends approval of this agreement.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing the supplemental agreement.
An ordinance authorizing supplemental agreement number 1 for construction services for the airport runway rehabilitation project.
Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance authorizing supplemental agreement number 1 for construction services for the airport runway rehabilitation project. Final passage.
I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Marshall?
Yes.
Bogus?
Yes.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham?
Yes.
8-0.
Motion passes.
The city awarded a contract for all our generator maintenance services to Martin Energy Group in December 2021 for an initial term of 16 months through March 2023, with the option for up to 4 one-year extensions. Martin Energy Group has consistently provided satisfactory maintenance and repair services since the contract began. Staff recommends a third one-year extension with the renewal cost for a total contract amount of $27,960.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing the extension of the agreement.
Bill number 2025-43, an ordinance authorizing an extension to the agreement for on-site generator maintenance, inspection, and repair services.
Second reading.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and for a second reading, and I have a second. Any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance authorizing an extension to the agreement for on-site generator maintenance, inspection, and repair services.
Final passage.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Bogus?
Yes.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
8-0.
Motion passed.
Earlier this fiscal year, we accepted an agreement with Microcom for the construction and installation of the new SCADA system, which will provide control for both the central and southwest east wastewater treatment plants. During the implementation process, it was identified that certain data services may not be secure once the system goes online. After a thorough evaluation, it was determined that the best course of action is to replace these devices with more secure type and establish a communication link with the plants for remote system monitoring through a secure connection. Additional modifications have also been identified to secure high-priority equipment. The total cost for this change order is $27,209, which will be included in the fiscal 2026 budget. This modification is essential in maintaining the security and reliability of our treatment plant operation. Recommends that acceptance of this change order.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing change order number 1 in relation to the SCADA upgrade.
Bill number 2025-44, an ordinance authorizing change order number 1 for replacement of data services for the SCADA upgrade at the central and southeast wastewater treatment plants. Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance authorizing change order number 1 for the replacement of data services for the SCADA upgrade at the central and southeast wastewater treatment plants. Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham? Yes. Marshall?
Yes.
Bogus?
Yes.
8-0.
Motion passes.
Staff has identified the need for change order number 3 for the 2021-18 1B storm drainage improvement project in Area 35 near South Beacon Avenue and West 13th Street, which is funded by the DNR ARPA grant. The change order includes extending 30-inch stormwater piping and replacing a concrete driveway at 1610 West 13th Street. with the contractor requesting an additional 21 calendar days to complete the work. The original project design did not account for properly restoring the homeowner's driveway or extending the drainage pipe to the end of the yard, which staff and the contractor determined was necessary to provide the best long-term service for the homeowner and the community. The total cost for the change order is $22,180.66, increasing the overall project cost to $322,050.80. The additional funding will be covered by the DNR grant and the SLFRF City, and the change order has already been approved by the Department of Natural Resources. Staff recommends acceptance of this change order.
All right, call for the reading of the ordinance authorizing change order number 3. This is for the area number 35 in relation to stormwater project.
Bill number 2025-45, an ordinance authorizing change order number 3 for storm drainage improvements, projects, area number 35. Second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding it? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance authorizing change order number 3 for storm drainage improvements, project, area number 35. Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill that's on the floor? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Cross.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Bliss.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham. Yes. Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yes.
8-0.
Motion passes. And with that, thank you, Chairman Hiller. Next, we have community development. I believe Chairwoman Foster is joining us for remote, so I do not believe she will be able to lead that. Vice Chairman Cross, you have the floor to go ahead and lead us in that.
We have one presentation tonight. Today, the Main Street update by Mr. Kopp and Mrs. Cornine are the presenters.
All right, we'll go ahead and invite up Mr. Kopp and Mrs. Cornine to go ahead and present.
Good evening. I hope you guys have had a great St. Patrick's Day. Just want to say thank you to everybody that helped and participated in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. A shout out to our awesome street department and to the Lions Club people for putting all that effort to get it barricaded and make sure that they had a safe and enjoyable time downtown. We had at least 20 people in the parade this time, and coming from that experience, we are so excited. We've already started brainstorming about different things that we can do just to enhance that awesome day already. So thank you to everybody, like I said, that participated and gave out positive remarks about how well it went. On our first Thursdays, as you see up on the board, the first thing I'd like to do is give a shout-out to our this year's sponsors, Central Bank, Coldwell Banker, and Backwoods Guitar. We also have Happiness Handicrafts that has done a sponsorship, too. These first Thursdays would not be possible for being able to pay our musicians again this year. This will be the second year we're able to do that. With events, event planners will tell you that if the first year goes great and the second year goes great, it's really the third year that is going to say whether an event, any kind of series, is longevity. And I'm very excited to say that we have plenty of the sponsors, the vendors, the businesses, the musicians, and the artists that I'm naming this series at First Thursdays our Gold Star series, because I think it is going to be a really enjoyable time downtown. So for this evening, we just want to kind of highlight our April 3rd First Thursday because we're doing something fun. April and May tend to have to where the sun dips down about 8 o'clock. It can sometimes be a little cooler. Who would have thought that the day after the pub crawl there would be snow on the ground? So we decided, Mr. Kopp brought it actually to us about doing a We Are Onesie contest. Nothing hard to do on it. It's very family-oriented. But if you have a onesie that you'd like to bring yourself, family, friends, we'll have it where we have different awards, an overall onesie. Family-friendly, the cutest, the scariest, and the most creative. And we'll just be going through, seeing people around, and seeing about doing those prizes. Some of the other First Thursdays that we have coming up that we invite everybody to attend and participate in. May 1st is our Talk About Downtown. June 5th will return our Trunk to Treasure. July will be our Family Olympics. September, we're going to do a chalk contest. I think that'd be kind of fun because we definitely want to try to keep with family-friendly entertainment. And October, we're bringing back our Halloween Meow-Mare event where we have actually people bring in their pets and we do a pet parade and contest and awards that way. So we will see you definitely downtown during First Thursdays. And like we said before, if you say there's nothing to do in downtown, please contact Sedalia Main Street. We'll make sure that we've got something for you guys to be able to enjoy the whole season. Thank you very much.
All right, I believe that's all we have for community development. Up next, we have our liquor licenses. We're going to call for the reading of the liquor licenses.
We have two new ones and 5 renewals tonight. New ones for John Swearingen, doing business as J. Lamy Manufacturing, 108 West Pacific for Sunday sales, and Melissa Atkinson, doing businesses the 518 Provisions at 520 South Ohio, for a special event license for the annual gala of 2025 at State Fair Community College on March 29th. And the renewals for Angela Lee, doing business as Casey's General Store, number 4277 at 1101 North Limit for packaged liquor and Sunday sales. Kathy Getz, doing business as Break Time, number 3079, 2801 West Broadway, Sunday sales. Kathy Getz, doing business as Break Time, number 3083 at 808 East Broadway for Sunday sales. Kathy Getz, doing business as Break Time, number 3084 at 318 West Broadway for Sunday sales. And Chris Robinson, doing business as Osage Gun and Pawn, 116 West Main for packaged liquor.
Motion to approve in block. Second.
I have a motion to approve in block and a second. Do I have any council discussion regarding the approval of these liquor licenses? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Moving along. Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and, if we have any miscellaneous items from the city council or interim city administrator, now's the time to go ahead and...
Yes, Councilman Robinson and myself have been working on something for a couple of months now. We've had several citizens from our first ward speak to us about the intersection of 3rd and Park. Many of our residents in that surrounding area walk to Liberty Park. And with the addition of the Hecker Community Center, we have got more foot traffic in that area as well, more vehicular traffic. And then Director Effley stated that she would like to see some footpaths, some sidewalks there in Liberty Park as well to enhance the walking. So we just have an increase of foot traffic there. But we don't have is a 4-way stop at that intersection. It's also the only park that's by a 30-mile-per-hour zone. So we have several of our residents in our ward that have come to us over the last couple of months that would love to see a 4-way stop sign at that intersection. Currently, we have a stop sign on the north and south side of 3rd, which is the Park Street entrance, but we don't have one going east and west. There's one from Grand, and then the next stop sign is 65. So we have about a half to 3/4 of a mile of a straight shot there. Councilman Robinson and myself took it to the Traffic Advisory Commission the other day, and it was a split decision. Not that there doesn't need to be a stop sign there, but I think that there needs to be more. There needs to be engineering studies, and we absolutely agree with that. We think there needs to be engineering studies right there to see what more we can do for the safety of that intersection. But Councilman Robinson and myself would love to come to you guys on behalf of the citizens of First Ward to seek your approval to adding a stop sign on the east and west side of Park Street, to add at least a stop there to increase the safety. And then, of course, direct our city staff to look at more traffic counts, to look at more studies that can be done on the intersection. But we really believe with the increase of foot traffic, to be able to add a safer intersection there by our largest park, or at least our most attended park, we would appreciate that.
So are you making a motion?
Would you ready to make the motion, or do you have anything else to add?
No, it's the only, there is no unprotected crossing from across 3rd into the park, and we think it's necessary.
Right. There needs to be more done in the area. I know that's probably concerns from Ms. Apley. We haven't had those conversations, but I would love to see city staff kind of do more in that area. But yeah, we would appreciate your help on this, and I will go ahead and make the motion to add a stop sign on the east and west side of Park Street to turn this into a four-way stop sign.
I'll second it, and I'd like to make one comment, and that is that it's not just a normal four-way intersection.
That's right.
It's also the entrance to the park, and that complicates that intersection.
It does, it does.
So I have a motion and a second to add a four-way stop to the intersection of Park and Third, West Third, is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, point of clarification, would the gentleman like us, that is to say city staff, to prepare a traffic study in support of that, or to go ahead and install the sign?
I'm in favor of traffic study.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's concerns to that too. I do believe two things. One, that intersection would highly show one, it would help with that too. But if we were to wait on a traffic count on this, we could be looking at several months down the road before it comes back to us. So, I think adding a stop sign and just to split that 3/4 of a mile stretch could at least add some more safety to that area.
Okay, so, I think the appropriate motion here would be a motion directing staff to go ahead and draft an ordinance, because we have to go ahead and adopt those stop signs by way of ordinance.
Yep.
Go ahead and draft an ordinance and then bring back that ordinance back to the next council meeting, for council's consideration, so that would be the appropriate motion.
All right, yeah, I will make that motion.
All right, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, a second, directing staff to draft an ordinance, for a four-way stop sign at the intersection of West Third and Park Street, and then bring that back to council at the next council meeting. Do I have any council discussion regarding that motion going forward?
Or there still be a traffic study.
So there could be a traffic count. We're bypassing the traffic count. We could look at traffic studies, engineering studies down the road. I think if it's needed. So this is just a step for more safety.
Well, with that little zigzag there,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I think we ought to put flashing stop signs there, because there's, people by habit are gonna zoom through that intersection. When I say zoom, I mean they're not gonna stop at it. I think them flashing stop signs out there on, 32nd Street, people start stopping right away, so I'd like to make that the good stop sign, with the lights flashing on, because I go out there quite a bit in that area for the park and their events and stuff, and it is kind of bad.
And so I have a motion, a second, to add that four-way stop to West Third. Do I have any further council discussion regarding that, or to draft that ordinance? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. We'll go ahead and bring that ordinance back to you at the next council meeting.
Thank you, council.
Do I have any other discussion?
I'd like to thank everyone who come out for the St. Patrick's Day Parade Saturday. I think everybody had a good time, had a good turnout, nice gig, and thank you all.
All right, very good. Anything else, council? All right. Having heard none, we'll go ahead and move on to our good and welfare section of our agenda. Before we begin this segment, I'd like to remind everyone of the framework for the segment. Each speaker is requested to step forward, clearly state their name and address, and we allotted 3 minutes to present their statement. Please note this is not a session for dialogue or debate with the City Council, nor is it a period for question and answer. It is a time for you to make your voice heard, for us to listen, and your statements to be entered into the permanent public record. We ask that all remarks be kept respectful and pertinent to community manners. And with that, we'll go ahead and invite up David Goodson as he's first on the list.
Hello, David Goodson, 1640 Edge Apple Drive, Sedalia, Missouri. Guys, I don't disagree with you guys about the stop sign, but we need to do something with it. But if you look at how far back that southwest corner of that intersection is, it's going to be hard to get that stop sign identified when you're eastbound. I think you ought to look really close at that, because I think that's the biggest challenge you face. Maybe you think you need a four-way, maybe another location there, but I think that's a tough intersection because of the way it zags. Water lines, they're breaking, infrastructure's falling apart, the streets are terrible, absolutely horrible. Not all of it's wintertime stuff, they were bad before we went into winter. I think we've got a great group of people that work at the city and work on our roads, but I think they're understaffed. I think they don't have enough equipment. I think that we need to look at how do we get our roads fixed. But 10th Street, I drive down it every day, West 10th, even that new road's terrible. Even the pothole is fixed, still terrible. I'm sorry, I have to grab my glasses, guys. I think with knowing we got so many unhappy people in Sedalia, we could look at maybe cutting back on how much we spent on legal fees last year, $800,000. I know that doesn't include probably what we're going to spend on the firefighter lawsuit. I mean, that's the money could go a long ways, fixing some streets and fixing some water lines. I'd really like to see you guys work on being more pro-business, more pro-citizen. I think our city needs that. We're seeing it at the national level. We're seeing things getting cleaned up. I think we're going to see it cleaned up here at the local level, too. Mr. Mayor, I'd ask you if you would consider giving bi-weekly reports to the community and not do an email, but go on Facebook Live. All the time, you can just go out there and talk to us about what's going on. I think the city would appreciate hearing from our mayor or our administrator, but if any of you guys can find your time to address it, it'd be great. I really just apologize, I wasn't ready to go first, so I was still making a few notes here. But with this new format, is this something we're going to adhere to? You got to sign up to speak, and what brought that on? What was the reasoning for that? I'd like to know. Maybe you could address us on that. And again, I'd ask you guys to consider cutting some legal fees, stop focusing so much on tearing down houses, and let's focus on building Sedalia up instead of tearing it down. You guys have the power to do that, and I think it would be a very proactive thing to do for our community. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Up next, we have Gary Loball, I believe. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Gary Loball, and I live at 821 South Arlington Avenue. And I just have one thing. I appreciate the administrator putting these comments for us. That's what's going to go on in the meeting. But I missed this time, there's no copy of what happened at the previous meeting in here. And I assume it's because we had to have this to remind us what's already in the good and welfare section already. But, you know, I appreciate the minutes being in here so I can read them. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Loball. Next, I'm having trouble reading this name, but the phone number is your mom's. So whoever went ahead and put that, if you go ahead and step forward, please state your name and your address, and you'll be allotted 3 minutes.
My name is Nicole Joyner. I live at 1012 West Broadway. You've been there, Mr. Mayor. Today is the 48th day since I called your office and left a very detailed message in regards to emails that were leaked online between you and my husband. I would like you to explain to me why you didn't feel you needed to call me back or acknowledge it, but you had time to go to Mardi Gras and earn beads. You had time to show up for the pub crawl. And the person that leaked them, it's been rumored that you claim you don't know them, but here you are shooting with him at the shooting range. Here's another picture, just so we're clear. Okay. So I'd like to know why you don't feel the need to return a call or make a comment, because we're well aware they weren't properly given to him. Sunshine requests are fun. So I had a whole other speech prepared, but I have to say, after hearing this stuff about a stop sign, when you were at my home, I talked to you about Heber Hunt and how we need to stiffen that place up. And you made a lot of false promises to me. And you had a lot of BS that came out of your mouth about MoDOT and all this. The same thing I heard Tom say at the Ladies' League, the same rhetoric. It is more important to me that my child does not get run over by a car because of the lack of safety at Heber Hunt. So I don't care about parks and all of that. People have enough crossing sense over there, but you need to own up and fix what you said you would, because you're a liar. You're a liar. You came to my home and you lied. But leaking my husband's emails was pretty dirty. Pretty dirty, because that same man continues to threaten all of us constantly. but that's your buddy, right? So, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Joyner. Up next, we have Harry Hofer.
Harry Hofer, 1408 South Barrett. So after reading this, I'm assuming that I'm directing everything to you, because it says it will be addressed questions. I really just want to read this so that anybody that's listening and streaming, I want you to, you said it pretty nice before this to us. But in this paper it says, it is not the policy of the mayor or the council to engage in dialogue to the public during the public comments portion of the meeting. Rather, the public portions meeting is intended, and this is where it really pisses me off, that it is intended to allow the public to address the mayor and to the city council. Ain't none of you need my approval. I guarantee you, I'm going to tell you what I think. Why would you print that? I mean, who the hell proofs these? I mean, do you think that's the way to come off? I hope you don't think that we have to be allowed to come up here and talk. No, that's all right. We put you there. We're the ones that put you there. We didn't put you there thinking that, oh my gosh, now I'm going to come down here and be knighted to flip and talk to somebody. No, we need to be able to talk. You also need to be able to at least say thank you, not just you, any council member. If you don't want to say something, I can understand. My opinion, I think it comes from the law firm. I think they tell you not to speak so you don't overstep. I really do. And I think that's bad. I think that's got you guys between a rock and a hard place. Because I know some of you guys, and some of you guys, man, this is not you all the time. But when you come into this room, you switch that hat. You put on, we're the jesters, we're the people that don't matter, but you guys can't acknowledge that people come to these meetings, and more are going to start coming. And they would like to have somebody just say, man, we heard that. Because they're going to walk away saying, well, maybe next time I see them, I can say something to them out in public. And you'll say, hey, still got you on the calendar. I remember what you said. You know how much that would mean to the citizens right here? It'd mean a lot. Because right now, dude, you guys are not running the record like Secretariat. You guys are running at the bottom of the pack right now, and we need more confidence in the city. But don't write stuff like that and expect us not to get an attitude about it. I mean, I ain't going to take that thing back.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hofer. Next, we'll go ahead and Mrs. Covington.
Debbie Covington, 2601 East Falls. I've been under the weather, so I'm going to go as fast as I can. First, Mr. Wirt, I know Rome wasn't built in a day. I have high hopes for you. I believe you will do the right thing and bring back compassion, ethics, morality, and common sense to Sedalia city government. Please know I'm not turning my back on you. I'm turning my back on all these people up here, including Auburn Law Firm. You guys still choose to bow down to the corrupt and remain corrupted, since our mayor and city council continue to not engage in a public dialogue and continue to spread lies and misinformation, Mr. Howell. I would rather just address Sedalia. I am a Sedalia tax-paying citizen that proudly lives and works on East Side Sedalia. I work hard every day for my family to keep our business and legacy going. Helping my dad to make sure my mom doesn't have to make a nursing home her home. If the current city administration sitting behind me had their way, they would have pushed us out our business, and we have worked hard for it. You never know what someone's going through. I've been through it, and I have had my own experiences with the city of Sedalia. I'm thankful I stood up to a bully and punched him in the nose. But what I've realized is for many different reasons, not everyone in Sedalia feels like they can do that. That's why I'm here to help to be a voice. Sedalia, your private property is your private property. Sedalia is not an HOA. As long as your home is not a danger to anyone else, it is not in the city of Sedalia's business. Post no trespassing signs on your property, at least one in the front and back. Write down my phone number. My phone number is 660-619-5323. If you have been harassed or targeted by code enforcement or lost your home to demolition, please contact me so I can get in touch with legal counsel with you. For the city of Sedalia to stomp on your right to own a home is not just un-American, it's unconstitutional. What Sedalia needs is Calvin Shaw fires, gone. Lauber, gone. Andrews recall, gone. We need new code enforcement. No more code enforcement via revenue generators. No more quotas to meet, reasonable time given for violations depending on circumstances and the time of year. We need demolitions of homes to stop. We need proper land and asbestos testing and abatement. And demolition needs to be the very last resort. We need a warming and cooling shelter for the homeless. Our roads and infrastructure need to be a priority. We need a council people that are servants, not council people on city council for their personal financial gain. I repeat, we need servants on city council. City council is designed to serve taxpaying citizens, and we need to get back to that. Last but not least, we need all city council committee meetings live streamed. These are just a few things we need. The people on Big Raid's mission, as we don't agree on absolutely everything, I am confident to say we agree that compassion and servanthood need to be brought back to Sedalia, and personal gain needs to stay out of it. On April 8th, please vote Albert Riley, 1st Ward, Michelle Abney, 2nd Ward, David Covington, 3rd Ward, and Harry Holford, 4th Ward. Thank you.
Next we have Heather Slagle.
Hello. I'm short on everybody. Heather Slagle, 2506 Dennis Road. For the new agenda, I'm not going to repeat what has already been spoken about. So let me go quickly through my little list here. The only thing that I guess I haven't had answered or brought up in discussion is I understand that nepotism makes strange bedfellows, so I would encourage the council to do a little investigation into the nature of the relationship of the HR director, I think her name was Shannon Trull, and the city administrator, and what was that relationship that started that investigation that got the 3 senior firefighters fired? Because if it was an inappropriate relationship that gave Daniel Shaw his position now, and he started moving up the ranks, which actually goes against protocol of the union, which the Kansas City union just had to, or I think Kansas City itself just had to pay out millions. There was a precedent set because they skipped ranks. So if that is the case here, then you should go ahead and pay those senior firefighters and settle that lawsuit, because those families have gone without wages for the last 3 years. There's no compensation. They gave decades and decades of service to Sedalia. They've served our communities with their lives on the line every single night, and this is how we pay them back. We've left them with nothing to show for it. We've taken away their pensions, their retirements, their wages, yet somebody gets to sit here. Don't know the last time that guy passed a PT test, but he sits here and represents the fire department. So tell me about safety, and this is the representation that we're getting. Do right by the people of Sedalia, the people that serve our community, not the people who have their daddy open a door for them and then get their legal fees paid for by Lauber Law Firm, which is very convenient that you guys get the legal fees paid for by the city of Sedalia and let him write out his own little contract. So, yes, those who don't live in Sedalia, don't work in Sedalia, should no longer be representing Sedalia. Thank you.
Next, we have Michael Fisher. Go ahead and step forward. You have, say your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Mike Fisher, 3100 South New York Avenue. Just have a few thoughts to share. First thing that's on my mind, if the city of Sedalia is demolishing homes without testing for asbestos, several potential motives can be considered. And this is in the eyes of myself and some others that would agree, like-minded, that cost savings to the town, the city, asbestos testing and proper removal are expensive. Skipping the step could have been an attempt to cut costs, even at the risk of the public. Number 2, explicit development. The city might have prioritized rapid urban renewal, redevelopment, pushing for demolition demolishing homes without following proper environmental protocols. Number 3, negligence or oversight, bureaucratic efficiency, poor planning, or failure to enforce environmental regulations that could have led to the lack of asbestos testing. Number 4, displacement. If the homes belong to lower income residents, it's possible that this was part of a larger strategy to clear the land for higher volume development. Number 5, lack of awareness, maybe on the building codes department or regulations on just the know-how. If the local authorities downplay the risks of asbestos exposure, they could have skipped testing underneath the assumption that it wasn't necessary. So I guess my question to you all, and maybe this has been brought up, but I have not had or heard a good answer. Why was the asbestos testing not done? If you'd like to answer that, that's fine. If not, just ask you to please think about this, because we have homes that are being torn down in Sedalia. Many of you people who I worked for, spreading gravel in their driveways, it's tax time, they get things done when they have money. One gentleman, I had to ask him to move 5 cars out of his driveway before I could do the job, simply because there is more than one family living in a home, in a 2-bedroom home. People are sleeping on the couches and the floors, simply because the parents' house behind him had been destructed by the city because of failure to be able to comply with the fines that were stacked on top of him. And why I'm in a position that I'm not in the city, it doesn't directly affect me, it affects the people I care about and I love. And I just can't say to stand alone and not let them stand alone and not watch or help or be a voice for them to come speak on their part. Because there was a time where the poor and the wealthy could live in perfect harmony in this town. It seems like to me we're trying to drive out the folks that have lower incomes. We have to have a place for them to live. And it's kind of overstepped in my eyes that the city would be allowed to determine if someone's house is in need of repair and not lend a hand. I see other communities lend hands. This is what we're able to do. This is what we can help you with, and then to shut off their water and to tear down their home. And essentially, that's what's being done.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher, for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we have, and I'm going to apologize because I'm having trouble reading this last name, but it's Tim who signed up.
I'll pass my time.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and he is going to refrain from making public comment. Is there anybody else that did not sign up that would like to make a public statement? You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address.
607 West 26th Street, Sedalia, Maryland. Just 3 minutes. I don't have time, but I want to stay with 3 minutes. To begin with, I want to make sure that everybody understands that there have been articles in the paper that are truthful, that are juried by a journalistic body, all right? And so we try to get these articles in the paper. There was one Friday about the house on almost 15th and Prospect. There was another one a week ago that was true that Rhiannon Foster helped with, and I told her I was proud of her for that. I've lived my whole life in Sedalia. I've handled building products my entire life. Every house in Sedalia that was built before 1960, or a large percentage of them, are going to have some form of asbestos in them. We are aware of that. I got to be real careful here. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the council. But I am certain that going forward, we will do testing for asbestos levels. We will then follow those recommendations from house to house to house. Residential structures, it's going to be mostly products that can be torn down without putting any asbestos in the air. And in fact, we don't know from this point, no one's had an industrial hygienist, to my knowledge, around any of these buildings. And the buildings that have happened recently have all gone through a long process for years and years. Someone here last time said that, how do you sleep at night? It's pretty tough because I care about, and I think I speak for the majority of the council, we care very much about people and what goes on with them. And these decisions, if you honestly go back and look at things, Matt could probably put some pictures up. The house is almost just 100 South Stewart, almost on Main. That house was a heart-rending thing that happened last time when that person explained that. But the truth is, that was a 2-year process. They were served several times and had every opportunity to go to court. There were people in there that were using meth and drugs. And the other side of this is that people don't, I talked to the people at 818 West 5th. They were troubled for years by the drug activity, by the prostitution, by the cockroaches and the mice that were in that house. It was deserted for over 2 years. And so they were thankful for that. But to say that carte blanche, we don't tear down any houses in Sedalia, what are you going to do, wave your magic wand? We have a responsibility for everyone, and that's what makes the seat tough. And I'm done.
Time has expired, Mr. Cole. Anyone else who would like to make a public comment, please step forward, state your name and your address, and you'll be allowed 3 minutes.
My name is Katie Fisher. My address is 3100 South New York. And I just have a question. We built a lot of houses here in Sedalia, and I remember when we were trying to get our letter of occupancy, the thing that was said to me when I didn't have self-closing hinges on the door and we couldn't get our letter of occupancy was, if you're going to do this, then you should know. And I felt like if those rules should apply to me, then those rules should apply to you guys as well. Because if you're going to do this, you should know. You should be educated on it. I went and sat in John Simmons' office and asked him to give me a book so we knew exactly the rules that we had to follow. And they said they didn't have that and they couldn't supply us with it. So I just feel like if I should have to know in order to be able to get my letter of occupancy, then you guys should have to know to be able to tear down houses. I just feel like the same rules should apply to all of us.
Anyone else who would like to give public comment, please step forward, state your name, your address, and you'll be allowed 3 minutes.
Lord be with me. Strengthen those who need courage. First time I said that prayer, I was in a P3 Orion, going to do Edward Garcia, and we just lost our last engine. A few decades later, I found myself saying the very same prayer in my own backyard as code enforcement terrorized me. Told me that my home was an unsafe structure, and then they had discussions about how they could turn my electricity off. I was in full Stockholm Syndrome. You can look that up and find out what it means if you don't know. I was scared to death. I would do anything. My wife and I had been saving money to add to our kitchen. I had already run the plumbing for it, and I begged them, please, I've been looking for a contractor for I don't know how long. It was like we just had started wearing those COVID masks. And the other two gentlemen, there was 3 gentlemen in my backyard, and the other 2 gentlemen, they were getting really nervous because I had asked them, I said, please, if you know a contractor, please, I'll do anything. Don't say that my home is a dangerous structure, please. And then the code enforcement officer brought a phone number out of his pocket. And he said, here you go, Mr. Ryan. You hire this contractor, and all your problems will be solved. Please, before the election, I know Tom is talking about the 4-way stop. I talked about that on KDRO. But please, this is most important. We must stop roving code patrols and return to a citizen complaint system. You've run your test. It has failed. The people on my block are terrified. Single mothers raising children on their own, disabled veterans, and we're still getting code enforcement letters for petty, exaggerated violations. I need your help, Ms. Barbas. I know you got a heart for the people. Please help us. I am Albert Riney. I live at 1022 West 7th with the most beautiful woman in the world. I love you, Judy.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riney. Anyone else? Well, not seeing any, I would entertain a motion to move.
Make the motion move to closed door session for legal advice, real estate, and personnel and negotiated contracts.
I have a motion to move to closed session regarding legal advice. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Bogus?
Yes.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
And Bliss?
Yeah.
All in favor?
This conference will now be recorded.
We'll go to Hitters. Thank you, but
You want a green beer?
got a green one? I think we could have one.
We can,
Maybe it's maybe.
huh?
So yeah,
I gotta remember. Don't stress.
someone took my little stuff.
Yeah, don't stress.
My little paper clips are gone.
Okay.
Oh, my poor head.
Yes. All right, do I have a motion and a second to return to the open meeting?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yep.
Cross. Yes. Foster.
Yes.
Bliss.
Yep. All right, call for the reading of bill number 2025-47.
An ordinance approving a special warranty deed for the sale of properties commonly known as 2204 South Marvin Avenue and 2206 South Marvin Avenue from the city of Sedalia, Missouri to CHDC LLC, a limited liability company.
Second reading?
Second. I have a motion and a second for a second reading of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding the bill? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance approving a special warranty deed for the sale of properties commonly known as 2204 South Marvin Avenue and 2206 South Marvin Avenue from the city of Sedalia, Missouri to CHDC LLC, a limited liability company.
Final passage.
Second. I have a motion and a second for the final passage of this bill. Do I have any council discussion regarding it? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Bliss.
Yep.
Robinson.
Yes.
Oldham.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Bogus.
Yes.
Hiller.
Yes.
Cross.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
8-0.
Motion passes. Now I'll entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting adjourned. I'm disappointed we didn't.